Okay, so welcome to this video. Let me get started by saying that a lot of people have asked for some sort of description of what's going on with the restoration of the car. So what I've got here is kind of a starting picture of when I got into doing the subframes and beginning to put the car back together. As you look at this and you see, it looks like a silver car with a red interior, but underneath that silver paint is a lovely color called Claret. I didn't realize that was exactly what the color was when I got the car back in '05. I just looked at a silver car, red interior, great, needs engine work, needs any kind of mechanical work, great, I can do that. Doesn't need any serious body work, great, perfect, that's the kind of car that I want. So I went and I got it and I brought it home, and it took a few years. Actually, these videos here, or these pictures, are probably from about 2007. So it took about 2 years before I actually got to this point. As you can see, the subframes that I attached on here and the firewall got painted Claret. I always figured at some point in time I would restore it to the Claret color. Jaguar Heritage said that the car was sold at a dealership in Rome, Italy, and it was painted Claret with a beige interior. Who knows who painted it silver and put a red interior afterwards? I don't know, but clearly when I got the car, that's what it was. So I found out that there's a guy in England, has a company called E-Type Fabs, and he makes, Yorick is his name, makes the absolute best subframes, bar none. I mean, to say that they're spot on is just not quite good enough of a praise for what he does. His work is just amazing. So the subframes came and they literally fit absolutely perfectly. I mean, you don't have to flex them or bend them at all. They just go right in place. You can get all the bolts in without any cajoling or moving it around in any way. So after I put the subframes on, of course, I began putting the sub-assemblies back in. You can see I'm putting on the control arms, upper and lower. Now, I elected to just clean them up. I know a lot of people have gone and they've done the cadmium plating, but I wasn't going to do that. I, was kind of getting, anxious. I've had the car sitting in the garage for a couple of years. I rebuilt the motor, but then I just kind of ran out of steam as far as getting it back together, and it sat for a couple of years. So I really wanted to get it going. Now, I decided I was going to redo the brakes with the Willwoods. So I put Willwood calipers, the 4-pot calipers on there that were available at the time. I think I got them from Classic Jag. They've got an aluminum billeted piece that goes in the back there, so they literally bolt right on. They don't change any part of the car at all. And then it's their rotors that went with them. So that was what I was going to do, and then I planned I would put the calipers from the front into the back. That's what everybody said that I should do. So put new Coney shocks on there. And as you can see now, I'm getting to put more and more of the brake system together. You can see I've got the brake tubing there, and I bent every piece painstakingly. Took all the time necessary to get the bends just exactly perfect. New wiring harness in there, and you can see more and more of the detail of putting in the things that you have to put in before you put the engine in. But you can get a real idea of how rich the color is. It's just an amazingly beautiful color. Claret, imagine a deep red wine, and that's what you got. So this, of course, being a Series 1, you've got the original brake servo, the vacuum bellows, and the kind of teeter-totter mechanism to balance between the two master cylinders. Interesting, very creative way to do things that Jaguar did at the time there. And you can see more of the tubing and whatnot that I put in as I'm assembling it. I took as much time as needed. I would come home and I would just sit in the garage all night long. My garage, if you can see in other pictures there, I've got a Lotus Europa, I've got a TR6, And so those are other project cars that I'm working on as well. And these are projects that I intend to keep. I don't plan to get rid of these cars. So, you know, now a little bit more together, got the heater assembly in place, you know, the wiring harness. I elected that I was going to put an alternator in instead of using the built-in regulator, but I wired up to it and bypassed it so that I don't have to have the built-in regulator. More on the brakes. Wiring harness that I got, you can see, I mean, it's perfect. There's just so many parts available for the Jags these days, but that wiring harness looks absolutely factory new. But, oh, now in this picture here, you can see there's an adjustable reaction plate down at the bottom. And the interesting thing, at least from my perspective, was when I built the car, when I got the car, I should say, it didn't have that reaction plate. That reaction plate was completely missing, not even on the car at all, which is a great testimony to how strong the monocoque is on the Jag coupes, because when I went to fit that new reaction plate in, it fit in exactly perfect. I didn't have to trim it or adjust it or bang anything out of the way. It fit exactly perfectly. In essence, the monocoque hadn't deformed in any way, shape, or form, having it missing for who knows how long. I mean, you know, I have no idea what was going on. Why did someone take it out and then not put it back in? It's a pretty important part of the car, you'd think. So you wonder why it wasn't there. But I thought that the upper and lower control arms and that looked good enough, cleaned up. I didn't want to spend the time and effort to totally replate them, so there we are with them. I think they look good enough. So this process took, you know, a fairly decent amount of time, as you could imagine. Trial fitting things, testing it, making sure that they were going in well. I've got, you know, great repair manuals, the Jag factory manual. I love it. I think it's probably one of the most beautiful works of art, in a sense. All of the drawings that are in there from the engineers as they did the illustrations with pen and ink, you know, just amazing stuff. Just more pictures. You know, at the time, I kind of opted for just putting it together as much as I could, and then I would go out and snap pictures. But, you know, your hands are all greasy. Who wants to grab the camera? Didn't set up a video. So at the time, this is what I got. So finally, decided to put the engine in. This is, I think, 2009 or so, when I finally got the motor in the car. As you can see, it's, you know, it's rebuilt. It's been sitting on the engine stand for a couple of years while I was waiting just to get the motivation up, I guess, to get it and put it in. But I put this engine in and took it out from the bottom, which is the easiest way to do it. If you're going to take an engine out, I highly recommend dropping it down the bottom. You do have to take the reaction plate out in order to do that, but it's absolutely worth it, because you can do it, well, you can do it single-handedly. You really can, if you've got any kind of talent there. So the original washer bottle, the original fuel filter bowl, the original wiper motor, all those things have proper date stamps on them for originality. So now you can see here inside, underneath the dash area where the instruments are, or the electrical is, the original color. So clearly, make no mistake, you know, this is the color that the car came from the factory at. Why they painted it silver, I still keep asking myself, what were they thinking? Why did they do it? You know, don't know. But as you can see, oh, the other interesting thing is we were calling this a 63 Series 1, but actually it was built in August of 1962. Now, in the US, of course, in fall of 62, the American car makers were releasing their 63 cars, right? This probably didn't get sold, I don't think, until 63. But, you know, since it was actually built in 1962, it really should be called a 62 Series 1. There you can see the sticker from Jaguar Club Italia, which was started in the mid-'80s or so. And this car was in Italy up until, you know, the mid-'80s. Finally, somebody brought it over to the U.S., and they were going to try to restore it, and it sat in a garage for 20 years. But you could see there's a 1987 sticker on the inspection sticker on the windshield, and it had a 1985 vehicle registration. So that's where we're at so far.